Hollywood just detonated, and the shockwave is ripping through the internet like wildfire. What started as a flawless love story has exploded into a nightmare so dark, so twisted, insiders are calling it the most dangerous secret ever whispered behind velvet ropes. One woman, one man, and a hidden life so carefully buried that when it cracked, it shattered everything in its path. Cameras were flashing. Smiles were locked in place. But behind closed doors, a ticking bomb was counting down, and nobody saw it coming. Sources say the warning signs were there all along: late-night disappearances, guarded phones, sudden mood shifts, whispers that vanished the moment she walked into the room. Friends noticed the distance before she did. Assistants saw things they weren't supposed to see. And then came the moment that changed everything. A single message, accidentally revealed, that exposed a secret world running parallel to the life everyone thought they knew. This wasn't just betrayal. This was a double life. Secret meetings. Emotional confessions never meant for her eyes. Recordings that allegedly exist, and are being passed hand to hand in elite circles like contraband. Hollywood power players scrambling. PR teams in panic mode. Social media detectives tearing apart old interviews frame by frame, realizing the truth had been hiding in plain sight the entire time. And when she finally found out, no screaming, no public meltdown, just a chilling silence that spoke louder than any headline ever could. Because what she uncovered wasn't just about love lost, it was about deception so deep, it threatens to destroy careers, rewrite reputations, and expose how far some people will go to protect a lie. And this is only the beginning. The silence after the discovery was louder than any scream. According to insiders, the night everything changed didn't come with a dramatic fight or flying accusations. It came with a glowing phone screen in a dark room and a message that was never meant to be seen. A message so personal, so emotionally naked, it immediately shattered the illusion of a perfect relationship. This wasn't flirtation. This wasn't an ambiguity. This was intimacy with a familiarity that doesn't happen overnight. And the moment she read it, she knew she was standing in the ruins of a life she thought was real. Sources say she froze. No tears. No shaking. Just a hollow stillness as the weight of realization sank in. The man she trusted wasn't just hiding something. He was living something else entirely. A parallel existence led carefully beneath public appearances, red carpet smiles, and carefully curated interviews about love, loyalty, and connection. Insiders claim this secret life had been building for months, possibly longer, hidden behind work commitments, late rehearsals, and industry meetings that never quite added up. What made it worse was the precision. This wasn't reckless behavior. It was calculated. Separate phones, deleted threads, code words in messages, friends who knew just enough to stay quiet. One insider described it as a chess game played in the dark, with her heart as the board. Every move was deliberate, every lie rehearsed, and everyone around them, whether knowingly or not, became part of the cover. The leaks didn't start immediately. That's the part that terrified Hollywood. For weeks, everything stayed quiet. Too quiet. She continued showing up, smiling, standing beside him while knowing the truth. Insiders say that was the most dangerous phase, because she wasn't reacting emotionally. She was observing, watching how easily he lied, watching how naturally he slipped between worlds, watching who protected him and who avoided eye contact when she walked into the room. Then the patterns became impossible to ignore. The same name appears repeatedly in private messages. The same presence lingering backstage long after events ended. The same energy shift whenever they were in the same space. Sources claim this wasn't just an emotional connection, it was a bond charged with secrecy and dependency. Something intense enough that it bled into public moments without anyone realizing what they were seeing. Behind the scenes, tension was building. Assistants whispered. Stylists exchanged looks. Security reportedly noticed last-minute schedule changes that made no sense. And still, she said nothing. Until the night an alleged voice memo surfaced among insiders. A recording, never publicly released, described as too intimate to misunderstand. Those who claim to have heard it say it confirmed everything she already knew and more. Emotional confessions. Longing. Vulnerability that was never offered to her anymore. When she finally confronted him, sources say the atmosphere turned ice cold. No shouting. No denial at first. Just silence. Then deflection. Stress. Pressure. Confusion. The classic script. Insiders allege he tried to reframe everything, insisting nothing was what it seemed, that she was misinterpreting closeness, projecting fear, reading into harmless connection. But the evidence was stacking up faster than excuses could cover it. That confrontation didn't end the relationship immediately. That's what shocked people the most. Instead, it marked the beginning of something darker. A quiet standoff. Emotional withdrawal. Strategic distance. She stopped confiding. Stopped reaching. Stopped trying to fix something that was never hers to repair. And while he thought he still had control, the ground beneath him was already cracking. Behind her silence, preparations were being made. Trusted confidants were looped in. Legal conversations allegedly began. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, information started slipping out. Not enough to expose everything. Just enough to spark curiosity. A vague post here. An unfollow there. A cancelled appearance that sent fans spiraling into speculation. Social media noticed immediately, dissecting timelines, rewatching interviews, sensing something massive was being suppressed. Then came the first real leak. A screenshot. Cropped. Anonymous. Just a few lines of text, but explosive in implication. It went viral within minutes. Fans panicked. Comment sections exploded. Some defended him aggressively. Others saw their suspicions confirmed. Industry insiders went silent, which only fueled the fire. And through it all, she remained quiet, watching the narrative slip out of his hands piece by piece. What no one realized yet was that this was only the surface. Because what she had uncovered went far beyond one message, one person, or one betrayal. There were layers still buried, alliances still hidden, and truths so volatile that if they came out, they wouldn't just end a relationship. They would expose an entire network of secrets Hollywood has spent years protecting. And as the pressure mounted and the leaks grew bolder, one question began echoing louder than all the rest. If this was only what people were allowed to see, what was still being kept in the dark? By the time the second wave hit, there was no controlling it. What had started as whispers hardened into accusations, and what had once been deniable suddenly felt undeniable. Insiders say the leak that followed wasn't accidental, and it wasn't random. It was timed. A deliberate fracture point designed to force the truth into daylight. Late one night, while most of the industry slept, a thread appeared online from an account with no history and nothing to lose. It didn't name names. It didn't explain the context. It simply dropped fragments. Screenshots. Timestamps. Voice note transcripts. Enough to make people gasp and start connecting dots they had ignored for years. Hollywood woke up in panic. Publicists scrambled. Phones rang non-stop. Emergency meetings were called before sunrise. Because the fragments weren't sloppy, they were precise. Messages referencing private moments no outsider should know. Emotional check-ins that sounded more like lovers than collaborators. Lines about missing each other, about feeling safest when no one was watching. Fans froze as they read. This wasn't tabloid exaggeration. This felt raw, unfiltered, real. And the most terrifying part, the tone suggested this wasn't new. It was ongoing. Social media went feral. Old interviews resurfaced within minutes. Clips that once felt innocent were suddenly dissected frame by frame. A lingering hand. A shared laugh that lasted a beat too long. A moment unstage where eye contact lingered like a confession. People began asking how they missed it. Others insisted they saw it all along, but were too afraid to say anything. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds. Defenders versus skeptics. Accusations of bias. Accusations of cover-ups. The algorithm fed on the chaos, pushing the story everywhere at once. Behind the scenes, sources claim he was unraveling. The man who once moved through rooms with confidence was suddenly guarded, suspicious of everyone. Friends say he stopped sleeping, stopped trusting. Every phone buzz felt like another bomb. He allegedly demanded to know who was talking, who was leaking, who had recordings. But the problem was bigger than one traitor. Too many people had seen too much for too long. Assistants, friends, industry peers who had been asked to look away. Silence had become complicated, and now no one wanted to be on the wrong side of history. She, meanwhile, was moving differently. Calm, focused, untouchable. Insiders say she had already mourned the relationship in private. What the public was witnessing was the aftermath, not the wound itself. While the internet screamed, she said nothing. No statements. No subtweets. No emotional posts. That restraint drove people insane. Every absence felt intentional. Every appearance felt symbolic. When she finally stepped out in public, cameras caught a stillness in her expression that read like closure. Not devastation. Resolution. Then came the confrontation everyone feared would leak. According to multiple sources, it happened in a private space with no witnesses, but not without evidence. He allegedly arrived defensive, prepared to deny, minimize, redirect. What he wasn't prepared for was how much she already knew. Not just messages. Not just recordings. Patterns. Timelines. Connections. Names. She laid it out calmly, piece by piece, dismantling the narrative he'd built for years. Friends say he went silent halfway through, realizing the version of events he controlled no longer existed. What followed wasn't remorse. I panicked. Insiders claim he begged her to keep it private, warning her about optics, careers, and backlash. He allegedly framed the truth as something that would hurt everyone involved, including her. But that argument fell flat. Because the damage was already done. And the truth had already escaped. The moment she chose silence over protection, the story chose itself. As the days passed, more details surfaced. A private dinner spotted months earlier suddenly made sense. A cancelled trip recontextualized. A cryptic lyric from an old interview took on new meaning. Fans began mapping timelines like detectives, creating threads that stretched for miles. Every connection led back to the same conclusion: this wasn't an accident. It was a carefully managed double existence sustained by privilege and secrecy. Then came the moment that tipped everything from scandal to meltdown. A longer audio clip leaked. Not the full recording, but enough. The voice is unmistakable. The emotion is undeniable. It wasn't explicit, but it was intimate in a way that shattered any remaining doubt. Listeners described it as devastating. The kind of vulnerability reserved for someone you choose over everyone else. Within hours, it was everywhere. Taken down, re-uploaded, shared in private chats, reacted to by celebrities who pretended not to react. Industry reactions poured in without names attached. Anonymous quotes flooded blogs. This has been an open secret. Everyone knew something was off. She deserved better. Others pushed back, accusing the public of overreach, of turning private pain into entertainment. But the machine didn't slow. It accelerated. Because the story was no longer about one relationship. It was about power. About how easily truth can be buried when everyone benefits from the lie. As pressure mounted, his inner circle reportedly began fracturing. People who once defended him distanced themselves quietly. Invitations stopped coming. Meetings were postponed. He felt the shift and panicked. Sources say he considered a public statement, but couldn't decide which version of the truth to tell. Full denial felt impossible. Partial admission felt dangerous. Silence felt like guilt. Every option closed another door. And just when it seemed like the worst had already happened, insiders began whispering about something far more explosive. Something that hadn't leaked yet. Something being held back deliberately. Not a message. Not a recording. But proof of coordination. Evidence that this secret life wasn't just personal, but protected. Managed. Assisted. And if that final piece surfaced, it wouldn't just end reputations. It would expose how many people helped keep the lie alive, and why they're terrified of what comes next. By the time the final truth began surfacing, the industry understood this was no longer damage control territory. This was a collapse. Insiders say the holdout evidence everyone feared finally moved off ice, when one person decided silence was no longer worth the cost. Not a rival. Not a fan. Someone inside the circle. Someone who had benefited from the secrecy until the moment it became radioactive. What emerged wasn't emotional. It was procedural. Calendars. Travel overlaps. Deleted email recoveries. Proof that what had been dismissed as coincidence was in fact coordinated. The revelation reframed everything. This wasn't just a personal betrayal hidden behind charm and discretion. It was a managed reality. Schedules adjusted to avoid overlap. Assistants instructed to reroute calls. Meetings rescheduled to create space. Entire narratives engineered so no one would ask the wrong questions. Sources say multiple people knew enough to help without knowing enough to feel guilty. That was the genius of it. Compartmentalization. Plausible deniability. And now, a paper trail. When word spread that this information existed, panic hit a new level. Not public panic. Private panic. Quiet exits. Sudden resignations. Long-time collaborators suddenly unavailable. Insiders describe it as watching dominoes fall in slow motion, each person realizing the next piece could implicate them by proximity alone. The story had evolved from scandal to systemic exposure, and no one knew where the edges were anymore. She still said nothing. That became the most terrifying part. Because by now, everyone understood her silence wasn't confusion. It was leverage. Every day she withheld comment, speculation grew darker. People filled the void with their own conclusions, and most of them weren't kind. Fans who once defended him began deleting posts. Support turned to distance. Distance turned to denial. And denial turned to anger, as people realized how much effort had gone into selling a version of reality that never existed. He attempted control one last time. Sources claim a statement was drafted and redrafted dozens of times, each version walking a tightrope between admission and evasion. But nothing landed. Anything he said would be weighed against evidence he couldn't see and leaks he couldn't predict. The story had escaped him entirely. He wasn't driving the narrative anymore. He was reacting to it, always a step behind, always exposed. Then the industry broke its silence in the only way it ever does. Through absence. Invitations quietly disappeared. Meetings postponed indefinitely. Projects delayed without explanation. The shift was subtle but unmistakable. Power doesn't announce rejection. It simply withdraws access. And suddenly, doors that once opened automatically required approval that never came. Insiders say that was the moment he understood this wasn't going away. Meanwhile, the internet reached a fever pitch. Viral breakdowns. Thread after thread connecting dots with frightening accuracy. Fans who once idolized the relationship now spoke of it like a cautionary tale. People began sharing their own stories of emotional manipulation, secrecy, and being made to doubt their instincts. The scandal metastasized into something larger than celebrity. It became personal, relatable, dangerous in its resonance. When she finally made her move, it wasn't public. It was decisive. Sources say legal steps were taken quietly, efficiently, with precision that left no room for misinterpretation. Assets separated. Agreements finalized. Boundaries enforced. This wasn't revenge. It was an extraction. A clean severing designed to prevent further damage. Those close to her describe a woman who had already processed the grief and was now focused solely on protecting her future. That's when the final leak hit. Not dramatic. Not emotional. A document. Redacted but unmistakable. Enough to confirm coordination without revealing its source. Enough to implicate more than one person without naming them outright. The reaction was immediate. Industry blogs froze. Commentators hesitated. This wasn't gossip anymore. This was a liability. Within hours, narratives shifted. The question was no longer what happened between them. It was who helped make it possible. Who looked away. Who benefited. And who might still be hiding something. The silence from key figures became deafening. People who once spoke freely suddenly couldn't be reached. Others issued vague statements about privacy and complex situations, language that only fueled suspicion. She remained untouched by the fallout. That was the most shocking outcome. While everything around her burned, her image solidified. Not as a victim, as a survivor who refused to perform pain for public consumption. Her restraint reframed the entire story. Where chaos demanded spectacle, she offered composure. Where outrage wanted reaction, she delivered resolve. And in doing so, she controlled the ending without ever narrating it. As for him, insiders say the isolation was total. Not dramatic. Just quiet. The kind of quiet that settles when the room empties and you realize no one is coming back. The double life had collapsed into a single consequence. And the safety net he believed existed beneath him was gone. But here's the part no one is ready for yet. The document wasn't the last piece. It was a warning shot. According to those closest to the situation, more exists. Not leaks. Not rumors. Verified material being held until the right moment, if that moment ever comes. And the reason it hasn't surfaced yet isn't fear. It's a choice. Because the most powerful move in this entire saga wasn't exposure. It was restraint. And everyone watching knows one thing for certain now. If what's already come out was enough to shake the industry, whatever remains unseen has the potential to level it entirely. If you've made it this far, understand this clearly. You're witnessing a story that is still unfolding in real time, and missing what comes next means missing the moment before everything changes. This isn't just a celebrity drama. This is the kind of scandal that reshapes reputations overnight, rewrites histories, and exposes truths people will spend years trying to bury again. And the only way to stay ahead of it is to stay locked in. Right now, conversations are happening behind closed doors. Screenshots are being saved. Decisions are being made that will determine what comes out next and what stays hidden forever. The internet is already choosing sides, timelines are being rebuilt, and every new detail is hitting harder than the last. If you blink, you'll miss the clues everyone else will be talking about tomorrow. So don't just watch. Engage. Hit like so this story keeps circulating where it can't be ignored. Drop a comment, because your voice becomes part of the conversation shaping how this is remembered. Subscribe, because what's coming next won't be handed to casual viewers. The next reveal won't be loud at first. It'll be subtle, strategic,